All right, welcome to the broadcast, everyone. Welcome to the campus of the Kansas City, Kansas Community College Blue Devils. They welcome into town the Allen County Community College Red Devils from Iola, Kansas. The Blue Devils went down yesterday to Iola and took back-to-back games down there. 13-6 was the score in both games. The first game was a 7-inning. Second game was a 9-inning game. And the Blue Devils took both of them 13-6. The Blue Devils are tied with Fort Scott for fourth place. And that is a critical place to be because when you're in fourth, the first round of the playoffs is the best 2 out of 3 games that you will play at your home facility if you are one of the top 4. But if you are in 5 through 8, you will travel. The Blue Devils are currently tied with the Fort Scott Greyhounds. Cali is in first place. They're 22-4. Now you'll notice that with some of the games, some of the teams have had byes, which we started off the year on a bye, and some of them are in their bye week now. So Cali is leading with a 22-4 record. Johnson is in second place with a 20-4 record. Coffeyville is in third with a 16-10 record. Then the Blue Devils and the Greyhounds of Fort Scott are both tied with 11-11 in the conference. Tied for sixth is Allen and Labette with a 7-15 record. I take that back. Allen, Labette, and Neosho all are tied for sixth place with a 7-15 record, and Highland is in the 2, 4, 6, 8, 9th position, 3-19. On the west side, Barton is in first place with a 22-4 record. Cloud is 17-5 in second. In third place is Colby, 12-10. Butler is in fourth place with a 14-12 record. Hutchison is in fifth with 11-11. Dodge City is in sixth. They're 10-14. Seward County is in seventh with a 6-14 record. Garden City is in eighth with a 5-15 record. And Pratt is 5-17. So Barton, Cloud, Colby, and Butler would all have home games in that first round, as opposed to the east side where Cali, Johnson, and Coffeyville would all have home games in that playoff. And Fort Scott and Kansas City, Kansas, yet to determine who is in that spot there. So that is a big reason why virtually you always need to win every game. But every game you win, you're taking an opportunity of maybe getting that first game at home. As far as opponents that are common, Johnson County took all 4 games from Allen County, 4-0, 10-0, 17-3, and 5-1. The Blue Devils lost 3 of 4. They lost 5-3, 9-3, and 8-7, but they won the last game of that 4-game series 5-4. So 1 game advantage there with common opponents. Then the Coffeyville, Allen split with them. They lost the first 2, 11-0 and 7-6. And, then they won the third one 12-11, and they lost the last one 10-0, where the Blue Devils split with Coffeyville. They won the first 2 here at home, 5-0 and 8-1, and then traveled to Coffeyville and lost 4-3 and 10-5. So we have 1 game advantage there as far as common opponents are concerned. Then the last common opponent so far is Fort Scott, and Allen split with them. They won the first one 3-0. They lost the second one 9-1. They won the third one 7-1 and lost the final one 18-5. So split 2-2 there, as did the Blue Devils. They won the first two 4-0, 7-5, and then lost the two 4-3 and 11-2. So a slight edge in data goes to the Blue Devils over the common opponents thus far. I'm going to take a short break. We'll be back with the starting lineups.
Blue Devils. The National Junior College Athletic Association, Region 6, and Kansas City, Kansas Community College promote good sportsmanship by student athletes, coaches, and spectators. We request your cooperation by supporting the participants and officials in a positive manner. Negative comments, profanity, racist, sexist, or other abusive comments or actions directed at officials, student athletes, or coaches or team representatives will not be tolerated and are grounds for removal from the facility. KCKCC thanks you for your support and cooperation. Here are your starting lineups. First for the visiting Red Devils, who have a record of 7-15 in the conference and 11-26 overall. Leading off and catching, number 23, Mace Robers. Batting second and playing third base, number 2, Logan Martin. Hitting third and DHing, number 7, Jace Arnold. Batting cleanup and playing first base, number 16, Grayson Robertson. Hitting fifth and playing right field, number 34, Jose Zaria. Batting sixth and playing second base, number 25, Nicky Moretto. Hitting seventh and playing shortstop, number 1, Caden Wint. Batting eighth and playing center field, number 6, Marquis Williams. Batting ninth and playing left field, number 9, Crew Lowe. And on the mound for the Red Devils, number 17, Manuel Toro. The head coach for Allen is Kirk Doyle, and he's assisted by Chase McGahee and Trey Harris. I killed that. Not even close. And now the starting lineup for your KCKCC Blue Devils, who come in with an 11-11 conference record and a 26-18 overall record. Leading off and playing shortstop, number 5, Tanner Pashorek. Batting second and playing center field, number 27, Marcus Dirks. Hitting third and playing first base, number 26, Frankie Santiago. Batting cleanup and playing left field, number 22, Freddie Nolan IV. Hitting fifth and playing third base, number 23, Cade Perry. Batting sixth and catching, number 55, Braden Horn. Hitting seventh and playing DH, number 48, Ian Woida. Batting eighth and the right fielder, number 2, Spencer Smock. Batting ninth and the second baseman, number 1, Sawyer Tolk. And on the mound for the Blue Devils, number 24, Caleb Reed. The assistant coaches are Billy Sharp and Pedro Leon. The head coach for your Blue Devils in his 9th season is Matt Goldbeck.
All right, welcome to the broadcast, everyone. A cloudy day here on the campus of the Kansas City, Kansas Community College Blue Devils here in Kansas City, Kansas. Flag pretty much hanging straight down, as you can see there in the picture. Caleb Reed will be on the mound today for the Blue Devils. He's from Olathe, Kansas. He has a 2.56 ERA. 5-0 is his record. He has 9 appearances, and he has thrown 45 2/3 innings for the Blue Devils this year. Roberts, Martin, and Arnold scheduled to start things off for the Red Devils. Don't like that camera. I may have to not use that when the wind out of the south, and as you can see, the wind has kind of picked up just a little bit. The catcher, Mace Roberts, will start things off for the Red Devils. The Blue Devils versus the Red Devils today. Roberts starts the day batting .269. He'll step in to face Reed as we get ready to get this one started. First pitch is up high, and the official, I guess unofficial start time of this one is 1:01. There's a strike inside corner at the waist. 1-1 the count. Just get this one going right now. That one's high and outside. So 2-1 the count. Blue Devils went down to Iola yesterday, took the first 2 games. Both of them they won 13-6. There's a breaking ball, swing, and a miss. So 2-2 the count. Want to just start by thanking the help up here in the press box, doing the scoreboard, doing my scoreboard. There's a ground ball down by Coach Harris.
Brady, Curran, Tucker, Schmock, Lucas Clark. Come on, Jared.
I might get somebody's name wrong. Who'd you say?
Brady, Curran, Tucker, Schmock, Lucas Clark.
So Smock, Hearn, and who?
Clark.
And Clark up here in the press box, doing the field scoreboard, my scoreboard. There's a breaking ball and a swing and a miss for the strikeout. Most of all, they help me when there's an exchange in the field and I miss it. They help me out with that. Logan Martin now step in. He starts the day batting .376. 1 out and nobody on. That ball's outside, 1-0 the count. I want to welcome everyone to the broadcast. Kind of strange being on a Friday, but that was better than pushing it back to Easter Sunday due to weather that is impending for tomorrow. There's a foul ball backing up and over the top of us. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out here in the first inning. The 1 out is a strikeout of Roberts. Another foul back. That's headed over to the soccer field. Nothing going on the soccer field today. Nolan the fourth, Dirksen, Smock across the outfield. Perry, Pachorik, Tolk, and Santiago across the infield. There's a fly ball into shallow center field. And that's going to be taken by Pachorik for the second out of the inning. That's going to bring up Arnold. Arnold is the designated hitter, Jace Arnold. Arnold starts the day batting .377. He'll step in with 2 outs and nobody on. Winding the pitch from Reed. Swinging a miss of the breaking ball. Started out on the outside part of the plate, ends up out of the zone, swing and a miss. 0-1 the count. Swing and a miss there. Oh, 2 the count. Outside and in the dirt. Braden Horn behind the plate. I don't know if I got to him as I was doing the defense that is set up behind Reed's battery mate, Braden Horn, behind the plate. 1-2 the count. And a swing and a miss for the strikeout. So a couple of strikeouts pop out. We go to the bottom of the first inning. Allen 0. The Allen Red Devils and the Blue Devils coming up. I'll be back. All right, to the bottom of the first we go. Manuel Toro from Venezuela is on the mound for the Red Devils. He has an 8.79 ERA. 3-4 is his record. He's had 10 appearances. He has pitched 28 2/3 innings. He will start off by facing Pachorik, Dirks, and Santiago for the Blue Devils. Tanner Pachorik, the shortstop, will lead things off. Pachorik starts the day batting .357. He'll step in to start things off here in the bottom of the first for the Blue Devils. There's a strike right at the belt, right down the middle. Lowe, Williams, and Zaria. Across the outfield, Martin, Went, Moretta, and Robertson across the infield with Robers behind the plate. The defense for the Allen Red Devils. That ball's outside, 1-1 the count. On the shortstop, Tanner Pachorik. Foul ball headed over to the soccer facility. Welcome to the Friday afternoon version of the Saturday 2 doubleheader for the conference baseball. That's down low. The KJCCC, Kansas Jayhawk Community College Conference. 2-2. Pop up on the left side. The shortstop Went takes care of that for the first out here in the inning. That's going to bring up Dirks. Dirks starts the day batting .398. Just a couple of ticks less than 400. He steps in with 1 out and nobody on. High and outside for ball 1. Comes the wind and the pitch from Toro. There's a strike right at the belt, right down the middle. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out. here in the bottom of the first. There's a strike on the outside corner. One of my boys had a high school coach could say, how could it be a called strike if the catcher can't catch it? 1-2 the count.
I love how we're on the same page there, Jerry.
That's up a little bit high. That particular coach was an All-American catcher at the University of Central Missouri.
Wow. Central Missouri's really good.
They are very good. Comes the 2-2.
Good battle.
Now, to make the side note on that, Brady, just so you know, my son that played here at KCK got his master's there, but he's now the head baseball coach at Warrensburg High School, which is there where UCM is. Let's get this hitter. There's a ball that's headed down the left field side and makes the play, does the third baseman Martin in foul territory.
First baseman, Frankie Santiago.
That's going to bring up Santiago. Santiago starts the day batting .345. He'll step in with 2 outs and nobody on. First pitch from Toros outside, ball 1. And the head coach at UCM has a sophomore son that is playing for my son that is the head baseball coach there in Warrensburg.
What's his name?
The head coach at UCM is Crux.
Crux.
There's a fly ball to Williams in center field. So both pitchers get 3 up, 3 down innings. We go to the top of the second, no score. I'll be back.
Pizza, pasta, and sub provider.
Thanks for joining me today. Be sure and like, subscribe, and ring the notification bell so you'll be notified every time we make an upload or go live. Thanks again. All right, to the top of the second we go. Robertson, Zaria, and Moretto scheduled up for the Red Devils.
First baseman, Grayson Robertson.
Grayson Robertson, the first baseman, will step in. Visited with his dad before the game. He's made the trip up from, I believe, Oklahoma, where they are from. There's a ball headed into right field, and that's going to be taken care of by Spencer Smock for the first out of the inning.
Right fielder, Jose Zaria.
Zaria now steps in. He starts the day batting .288. Robertson, that just flew out, he started the day batting .304. Was swinging on that first pitch. The first pitch here to Jose Zarella, the right fielder. There's a swing and a miss of that pitch, so we're right back to 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out. In the dirt and back to the screen. 2-1 the count on Jose Zaria, the right fielder. There's a ground ball headed at Tolk. He's up with it and over to Santiago. A lot of spin on that ball right there.
Second baseman Nicky Moretto.
That's going to bring up Nicky Moretto. Moretto starts the day batting .250. He steps in with 2 outs and nobody on. There's a strike at the belt outside half of the plate. 0-1 the count. There's the outside corner at the knees for strike 2. So 0-2 the count quickly on the second baseman, Nicky Moretto. Comes the wind and the pitch from Reed. Foul ball headed over the top of the locker facility for the Blue Devils. We'll do the 0-2 again. Misses low and inside, so 1-2 the count. Good pitch sequence there with that ball inside. Come back now to the outside corner. That's a little bit low. Inner half, though. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs now here in the second inning. Low and inside. Pace there on that pitch was a little bit quick. Triggered it inside. Tall righty Caleb Reed on the mound. Here comes the pitch. And fouled that one away. So Reed and Moretto locked up in a battle here with 2 outs in the top of the second inning. It's a ground ball headed through the hole. That's going to be a 2-out base hit for Moretto.
Shortstop Caden Wint.
It's going to bring up Caden Wint. Wint starts the day batting .200. He steps in with a runner at first and 2 outs. Fouls that one away. Runner down at first base is Nicky Moretto, the second baseman. Moretto pretty tall for a second baseman. There's a ball headed into deep left center. That's taken care of by Marcus Dirks. So no runs on 1 hit, 1 left on, and we go to the bottom half of the second inning. No score. All right, Nolan the fourth, Perry and Horn scheduled up for the Blue Devils. Nolan the fourth starts the day batting .331. He takes a strike outside half of the plate. 0-1 the count on the left fielder, Freddie Nolan the fourth. That ball drops a little bit low. 1-1 the count. That misses outside. We've seen some umpires this year where that is a strike right there for sure. Get a nod yes from a couple of the players here in the press box. Comes the 2-1. That's outside. 3-1 the count on Nolan the fourth. The one in the pitch from Toro. There's a strike at the knees on the outside corner. So the count goes full on Nolan the fourth. So a ball headed down into the bullpen area. Comes the 3-2 again. That ball's low and inside, so a leadoff base on balls issued to Nolan the fourth. That's going to bring up the third baseman, Perry. Cade Perry. He'll step in with a runner at first base and nobody out. Perry starts the day batting .281. There's a ground ball through at second base and headed into second, and it's going to be safe into second on the throw. So first to third goes Nolan the fourth. So that's going to bring up Braden Horn, the catcher. Horn will step in. Runners at second and third with nobody out. Horn starts the day batting .325. That ball misses for a ball, not sure where, but we'll take it as a ball. Yeah, but we've been seeing some called up there as strikes. I agree with it being up with you, though. There's a ball headed into left center. And 2 RBI for Braden Horn. He just slaps one into left center. So that's going to bring up Woida. Woida will step in with a runner at first base. And still nobody out. 2 runs in for the Blue Devils. Swing and a miss on that first pitch by Woida. So a base on balls and a double. And then Horn promptly drives in those 2 runs. There's a I didn't mean to or want to, but I did. Check swing for 0-2 the count now. So Boyd will have to shorten things up and protect. Foul ball headed over to the soccer facility. So 0-2 the count on the designated hitter, Ian Woida. And a swing and a miss for the strikeout. It's going to bring up Spencer Smock.
Right fielder Spencer Smock.
Smock starts the day batting .273. Steps in with 1 out and 1 on. And inside. Runner at first base is Horn. He had the 2 RBI hit. There's a strike. Top part of the zone, inside half of the plate.
Hey, just let me know when you need to get me on that headset. I'm ready.
1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out, 1 on. Squares to bunt, takes in the dirt, nicely blocked by Robers. Mace Robers. 2-1. That ball's headed over to the soccer facility. So 2-2 the count on the right fielder, Spencer Schmock. Just misses a little bit inside. Pretty good looking pitch right there. 3 balls, 2 strikes, and an out. You know what maybe saves him there is he's in so tight on the plate that it makes it look inside, and that's up high for ball 4. So a 1 out walk.
Second baseman Sawyer Tulk.
So that's going to bring up Tolk. Tolk starts the day batting .321. Runner at second base is Horn. Runner at first is Smock. It's a ground ball headed at the shortstop. Nice job charging. Nice job of the runner to not interfere with Went, but Went charges and gets that ground out for the 6-3.
Shortstop Tanner Pachorik.
Back to the top of the order, and Tanner Pachorik. That ball's inside. Pachorik is from Aurora, Colorado. He steps in with 2 outs and 2 on. 2-run lead by the Blue Devils. Squares to bunt. The bunt is down. And we'll see how that's scored. The pitcher tried to barehand that.
But no, as a hitter, we're giving him a hand. That's not easy E1. Easy. Yeah, that ain't
And the thing of it is he has plenty of time to field that. It's going to be an error on the pitcher. There will always be that debate that anytime you can give a base hit, you do. If that ball's a little more toward third base, he is able to count that. There's a high chopper at the first baseman. Robertson corrals that, steps on the bag. 4. The out over there, so the Blue Devils get 3 runs on. 3 runs on 2 hits. We go to the top of the 3rd inning. Blue Devils leading 3-0. I'll be back. All right, to the top of the third we go. Williams low, and then back to the top of the order with Robers. Marquis Williams, the center fielder, steps in. Little nubber, and that's going to get past the third baseman, Cade Perry. And that's going to be scored an error as well. I thought he was going to catch that thing in the air. We stay with the hit, or did you go with the air? Think that may get changed to a hit. We'll see. There's a strike called. It's going to bring up low. Toss over to first base. Nothing much going on over there. Low starts the day batting .209. And safe at second. Pretty close right there on that play. Wilson Williams with the stolen base. Swing and a miss of that pitch. Too low. So the Williams at bat is scored a base hit. Officially. There's a foul ball. That had a little catcher interference written on it to me, but they're a lot closer to it than I am.
I agree, Jerry.
1-2 the count. There's a rocket hit over toward the dugout of the Red Devils. Nobody out. 1-2 the count. Runner on second base is Williams. That ball just wide of first base. Santiago over to take a look at it and lets it go on down to the fence. The shortened fence that juts out around the bullpen area for the visiting team. That visiting team, the Red Devils of Allen County today. 1-2 the count. That one's off the fist right there. Fouled over to Coach Harris there makes the nice play over there. We'll do the 1-2 again. Trey Harris is the interim coach, I understand, from Allen County. Comes the 1-2 again. That's low and inside. So 2-2 the count. Comes the 2-2 from Reed. Foul ball headed down the left field line. We'll do the 2-2 again. Reed locked up in a battle with the number 9 hitter, Crew Lowe, the left fielder. Another foul ball.
How many pitches, Jerry?
I was just thinking about that. I believe that is 7, so 8 will be coming here unless I missed one.
That's a quality at bat.
That is a very quality at bat. You're just still pimping for the headset, aren't you?
Jerry,
2-2 the count.
that I could be a top-level announcer.
There's a ball hit out to Santiago. Santiago will corral it, step on the bag, and an out, but a decently productive out as the runner moves to third. So back to the top of the order.
23, Mace Rovers.
That's going to bring up the leadoff hitter, Robers. He struck out his first time up. He is from Loudenberg in the Netherlands. Out in front of that one, fouls it over toward the dugout. Oh, and 1 the count. Runner at third base. Comes the 0-1 from Reed. It's a ground ball and gonna come home with it, and poor choice there on my part. Sorry you missed that play. But the tag at home, Perry comes home, and Horn applies the tag. So he reaches on a fielder's choice, does Robers. But the out at home now makes for 2 outs, so that's going to bring up Martin, the third baseman. That is just a little bit outside. Martin is from Missouri City, Texas. There's a strike. Outside corner at the knees. Runner at first base is Mace Robers, the catcher. 1-1 the count on Logan Martin. And the check swing. Now, see, that is interesting to me because the umpire behind the plate pointed as if it was a swing, and then he asked the outfield umpire. So what Coach Goldbeck is saying is, hey, you pointed for that. 2-1 the count. So I guess what we're saying there is the appeal reversed, which is an odd way for that to happen. Doesn't usually happen in that manner. But nonetheless, 2-1 the count. There's a toss over to first base. Martin popped out into shallow left center for to Pachorik at short, his first time up. Runner goes. There's a ball headed up the middle. Pachorik's up with it and over to Santiago for the 6-3 ground out. So no runs on one hit as that one hit gets erased by a fielder's choice. We go to the bottom of the third inning. Blue Devils lead 3-0. Thanks for joining me today. Be sure and like, subscribe, and ring the notification bell so you'll be notified every time we make an upload or go live. Thanks again.
26, Frankie Santiago.
All right, to the bottom of the third we go. Santiago will lead things off here. Santiago is from Calle, Puerto Rico. Takes ball 1-0 the count. Santiago flew out to Williams in center field. His first time up. There's a ball headed into the corner. That's going to be extra bases for Santiago as he cruises into second base with the double into the right field corner.
For 22, Freddie Nolan, the fourth.
So that'll bring up Nolan the fourth. Nolan the fourth is from Fort Worth, Texas. He reached on a base on balls. He had fouled away at least one pitch with a 3-2 count before walking. That ball's in the dirt and nicely blocked by Mace Robers, the catcher for the Red Devils. 1-0 the count. And again, out in the dirt and a nice block by the catcher, Robers. Santiago at second base with nobody out here. The Blue Devils lead 3-0 in the bottom of the third inning. There's a high chopper down to Coach Goldbeck. Short bobble of the ball, but he had the arm to make up for 2-1 the count now on Nolan the fourth. Swing and a miss. Inside, heater up in the strike zone. 2-2 the count now. Nolan the fourth, the left fielder for the Blue Devils. That's outside and in the dirt. Another nice job by the catcher, Robers. So 3-2 the count now on on Nolan the fourth. There's a ball headed deep into left field. And that was a nice play by the left fielder, Lowe, to make a diving catch up high to take extra bases away from Nolan the fourth.
23, Kate Perry.
You think that's top 10 sports center?
So a nice play by the left fielder, Williams. That's going to bring up Perry. Perry will step in. Perry is from Omaha, Nebraska. He takes a strike. So 1 out now after that nice play by Lowe in left field to take away extra bases. Nolan the fourth. Santiago tags and moves to third. Breaking ball stays inside. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out, 1 on. That's high and inside for ball 2, 2-1 the count. Perry had a double his last time up. Had a close play at second base. He hit it to right center. There's a ball headed down the right field line and just twisting and being fouled. Had the distance, but wasn't between the poles. 2-2 the count now on the third baseman, Cade Perry. Foul ball headed over to the soccer facility. So Martin over to the edge of the fence to retire Perry. That was down at the end of the dugout, out of view. So that'll bring up Horn. Horn is from Derby, Kansas. He takes a strike, 0-1 the count. That ball's outside. 1-1 the count now. So the Blue Devils get the lead off double. Couple of pop-ups. One of them moves Santiago to third on a nice play, taken deep by Nolan the fourth. Takes up high, does Horn. Horn had a 2 RBI base hit his first time up. The first 2 runs of the day for the Blue Devils. That's up high. Three and one the count now. There's a strike outside corner at the knees, so 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Runner at third is Santiago. Foul back, just does get a piece of that. Does the catcher Horn. We'll do the 3-2 again. In the dirt. Nicely blocked by Robers, but that's going to be a 2-out walk. So headed down to first base is Horn. That's going to bring up Woida. Woida is from Lincoln, Nebraska. He struck out his first time up. Thought the high inside pitch was going to be a curveball, and it was not. Stayed up and in. There's a ball headed for the woods. On one the count on Ian Woida. That misses just a little bit inside. 1-1 the count. In the dirt again. Nicely blocked by Mace Robers. 2-1 the count on Woida. 2 outs, 2 on, runners at the corners. That's up high and inside. 3-1 the count now. There's a ball headed to deep right. That's going to be off the base of the wall. Heading into second base is Woida. And the throw home man sliding across. So Woida with 2 more RBI for the Blue Devils. Makes it 5-0. So Woida with the double. That's going to bring up Smock. Smock is from Aurora, Colorado. There's a fly ball into right field. That's going to be taken care of by Zurio. So the Blue Devils pick up 2 runs on 2 hits. We go to the top of the 4th inning. Blue Devils leading 5-0. I'll be back. All right, Arnold, Robertson, and Zuriel
Number 7, Jace Arnold.
scheduled up for the Red Devils. First pitch is outside to Arnold. He struck out his first time up. Arnold is from Sand Springs, Oklahoma. Way outside, a little out of rhythm there was Reed, 2-0 the count. Reed from Olathe, Kansas on the mound for the Blue Devils. Tall right-handed redhead. There's a breaking ball, catches the outside corner at the knees, 2-1 the count. Top of the fourth inning action. There's a ball backing out of play. Nolan the fourth, Dirksen, Smock left to right across the outfield. Perry, Pachorik, Tolkien, Santiago left to right across the infield with Horn behind the plate. Breaking ball, that one's going to be popped up and up into the bleachers. Two and two the count. Foul ball headed over to Coach. Coach Harris with the backhand grab over there. 2-2 the count now. Jace Arnold, he struck out in the first. And strikes out again. That breaking ball couldn't come up with contact on it.
Number 16, Grayson Roberson.
That's going to bring up Grayson Roberson. Roberson is from Oklahoma. It's the Oklahoma City area. Doesn't show on the roster. He takes ball one. He flew out to Spencer Smock in right field his first time up. He swung on the first pitch. That at bat, 1-0 the count here. There's a ball breaking hard in on fastball with movement. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out. To the first baseman, Grayson Robertson. Strike on the check swing. So 1-2 the count. The wind-in pitch from Reed. And a number back to the pitcher. And a lot of English on that ball back to the pitcher. Reed runs part way and then over to Santiago for the 1-3 ground out.
Jose Zaria.
That's going to bring up Zaria. He steps in, takes a strike on the outside corner. The roster has him as 33, but the scorecard that we have has him as 34. Roster does not show where he's from. There's a swing and a miss. So quickly 0-2 the count. Top of the fourth inning action. Blue Devils lead 5-0. Breaking ball breaks outside. Tempted, but no swing by Zaria. 1-2 the count on him. He grounded out to Tolk at second base his first time up. There's a ball headed into shallow right, and Tolk's going to take care of that for the 3-up, 3-down inning. No runs, no hits, no errors, nobody left on. We go to the bottom of the fourth. Blue Devils leading 5-0. The Red Devils have no runs on 2 hits and an error. The Blue Devils have 5 runs on 4 hits and no errors. We will take a short break. We'll be back for the bottom of the fourth. Stay with us. We got a good one. Thanks for being here. All right, to the bottom of the fourth we go. Sawyer Tolk. He's from Sioux Falls, South Dakota. That misses inside. He grounded out to Wint at shortstop his first time up. Want to know the count? It's out of play over the first base side. Down the hill. Almost makes it into the woods, but not quite. So 1-1 the count on the second baseman, Sawyer Tolk. That's low and outside. So 2-1 the count. Squares to bunt, pulls it back, takes a strike. The wind and the 2-2 from Toro. There's a strike right down the middle. So back to the top of the order and Pachorik. Pachorik will step in with 1 out and nobody on. Pachorik has popped out to the shortstop and reached on an error by the pitcher. Want to know the count. First pitch is low for a ball. Manuel Toro from Venezuela on the mound, just a little bit wide of third base on that one. The wind and the 1-1. Ball out of play over the dugout. One and two the count now on the shortstop, Tanner Pachorik. And there's a hit by a pitch.
Number 27, Marcus Dirks.
It's going to bring up Marcus Dirks, the center fielder. Runner at first base after the hit by a pitch is Pachorik. 1 out, 1 on. First pitch to Dirks is right through there. Strike called. 0-1 the count. Dirks has popped out in foul territory to the third baseman and grounded out unassisted to Grayson. Robertson. Stolen base by Pachorik. No throw made. Good jump by Pachorik, 0-2 the count. There's a chopper over the top of Coach Sharp at first base. Pachorik at second. Dirks at the plate. That's in the dirt, nicely blocked by Robers. One ball, two strikes, one out, one on. Bottom of the fourth inning action. First game is a 7-inning scheduled game. There's a high chopper. That may be as close as a ball has been to my camera on the first base dugout. We hope that that stays away from them. The 1-2. There's a ground ball headed up the middle. That's going to be an RBI. And into second base. I'll see, was that a true double or did he move up on a bobble? True double, thank you. So Santiago will step in after Dirks has the double. So 6-0 the lead now. Santiago takes ball one. Santiago flew out to Williams in center field the first time up. In the third, his second at bat, he ripped a ball into the right field corner for a double. 2-0 the count now on Santiago. Inside, that's going to be a wild pitch, and moving over to third is Pachorik. So a stolen base and a wild pitch, and the hit batter is now on third base with one out, with Santiago at the plate. 3-0 the count on him. There's a strike at the belt right through there. So 3-1 the count now. Infield moving in. And that's up high for ball four. So we're going to get a visit to the mound. Blue Devils lead 6-0, bottom of the fourth, one out, two on, with Nolan the fourth coming to the plate. Stay with us. We got a good one. Thanks for being here. Yes, I did not get my audio turned back on. You saw the 4-3 double play to get him out of the inning there. So, Reed comes back to the mound. The Blue Devils leading 6-0. I'll be back. All right, to the top half of the fifth inning we go. Nicky Moretto, he had a base hit
25, Nicky Moretto.
between Pachorik and Perry his first time up. That ball's low and outside, 1-0 the count. Moretto is from Ottawa, Ontario, Canada. Low and outside again. 2-0 the count. Top of the fifth inning action, Blue Devils leading 6-0. Scheduled 7-inning game per conference rules. Foul ball back into the net. 2-1 the count. Another foul ball back into the netting. Right over the top of Coach Burleson, who sits down there on the picnic table to watch the game, retired coach of the Blue Devils. There's a breaking ball, catches the outside corner for the strike three called. That's going to bring up Caden Wint.
Number 1, Caden Wint.
Wint is from Cambridge, Ontario, Canada. Swing and a miss of that pitch. He flew out to Dirks in center field his first time up. There's a strike, catches the outside corner so quickly. 0-2 the count on the shortstop, Caden Wint. Swing and a miss for the strikeout. So a punch out and a strikeout, swing out. There's 2 down. That's going to bring up Marquis Williams.
6, Marquis Williams.
Williams is from Orange Park, Florida. Steps in with 2 outs. Swing and a miss on the high heater. 87-mile-an-hour fastball. Williams, the center fielder, had a base hit his first time up with a stolen base as well. And swing and a miss for strike 2. 0-2 the count on Marquis Williams. There's strike 3 called. So Reed strikes out to the side here in the top of the 5th. We go to the bottom of the 5th. Blue Devils leading 6-0. All right, to the bottom half of the fifth inning we go. Blue Devils leading 6-0. Perry, Horn, and Woida scheduled up for the Blue Devils. Toro back for another inning of work. That ball falls a little bit low. 1-0 the count. Perry has a double in the second and fouled out over against the fence on a nice play by Martin. There's a foul ball into the glove of the catcher. Robers for strike. Called 1-1 the count. So a nice play by Martin over against the fence. There's a strike called to get Perry out in the third. So 1 for 2 is Perry with a double. 1-2 the count now here on Perry, the third baseman, in the dirt. 2-2 the count. Winding the pitch from Toro in the dirt. So 3-2 the count now. That's down low for ball 4. So the leadoff walk to Perry gets things started here for the Blue Devils. That's going to bring up Horn. Going to have a visit to the mound by the pitching coach, probability, and yes, there's going to be the pitching change. We'll get that information and be back. Blue Devils batting here in the bottom of the fifth, leading 6-0. I'll be back. All right, pitching change has been made. Keaton Hartman from Wellington, Kansas, will take over for the Red Devils. He has a 20.06 ERA, 11 2/3 innings pitched. First pitch to Horn is low and inside for a ball. Horn has a base hit in the second with 2 RBI and a base on balls in the third. That's way outside. Runner at first base is Cade Perry. He reached in a leadoff walk. There's a ball deep to left. And the home run by Braden Horn to RBI. So that runner at first, responsibility of Toro. Makes it 8-0 after that pitch. That'll bring up Woida. Woida has struck out in the second and had a double to the right field wall for 2 RBI in the third. That's down low for 1-0 the count. Woida, the designated hitter, facing Hartman for the first time. That's low and inside, so that closes the book on Manuel Toro. He goes 4 innings, gives up 7 runs on, 5 hits. There's a pitch right down the middle on Woida, so 3-1 the count. It's outside for ball 4. So a walk, a 2-run home run, and a walk. That's going to bring up Spencer Smock.
Number 2, Spencer Smock.
Smock will step in for his third at bat. He walked in the second, flew out to Zaria in right in the third. Now he bats here in the fifth. First pitch is a ball. Runner at first base is Woida. There's a strike. Inside part of the plate at the knees. 1-1 the count. Low and outside. 2-1 the count now. On the right fielder, Spencer Smock. Stretch and the pitch from Hartman. Swing and a miss of that heater. Two and two the count. Nobody out as the Blue Devils bat here in the bottom of the fifth. They lead by 8. Swing and a miss of that pitch. So the strikeout of Smock. That's going to bring up Tolk.
Number 1, Sawyer Tolk.
Tolk has grounded out to the shortstop in the second, struck out in the fourth. He's up there with 1 out and 1 on. There's a strike at the knees right down the middle. There's a ball headed into center field. Over to take care of that is the center fielder, Williams. So back to the top of the order. It's going to bring up Pachorik. Pachorik is 0 for 2 on the day, but he was hit by a pitch, had a stolen base. Bluff throw down to first. Woida down at first base. There's a strike called. 1-1 the count. 1 ball, 1 strike, 2 outs. Runner at first base is Woida. There's a ball off the glove of the pitcher. That's going to be a base hit off the glove. Then ricochets out toward right field, and Moretto without a chance to get to that ball. That's going to bring up Dirks. Dirks will step in with 2 outs and 2 on. That's down low. Dirks is 1 for 3 on the day with a fly out, a ground out, and an RBI double. The RBI double came in the 4th inning. There's a strike called at the upper limits of that belt on the outside corner right there. 1-1 the count on Marcus Dirks. In the dirt, nicely blocked by the catcher, Robers. Hartman on in relief of Toro. That's up and in. 3-1 the count on Dirks. Steps off does the pitcher Hartman. Comes the stretch and the 3-1. Foul ball backing out of play, so now 3-2 the count. So the runners will have the advantage of being off with the pitch. A high fly ball into left center. That's going to be taken by Williams. So the Blue Devils lead this thing 8-0. They get 2 runs on the 2-run home run by Braden Horn. We go to the top of the 6th inning. Blue Devils leading 8-0. All right, here we go to the top of the 6th inning. Lowe, Robers, and Martin scheduled up for the Red Devils.
Number 9, Crew Low.
Crew Lowe at the plate. He takes a ball. Crew is from Frisco, Texas. Swing and a miss of that pitch. 1-1 the count on the left fielder. He grounded out to Santiago unassisted his first time up. There's a ground ball whistled over to the dugout. The away team dugout at first base. Comes the 1-2. That's up high. 2-2 the count now. Excuse me. Here comes the wind and the 2-2 from Reed. Swing and a miss, the breaking ball at 75 miles an hour for the strikeout. Back to the top of the order, and Mace Robers.
Mace Robers.
Robers has struck out and reached on the fielder's choice that yielded an out at home plate by Cade Perry. There's a strike right through there. 0-1 the count on the catcher, Robers. The ball headed into left field. That's going to be taken care of by Nolan the fourth. So that'll bring up Martin.
Number 2, Logan Martin.
Martin's been out on a pop out to Pachorik at short and a ground out to Pachorik at short. So how about a ground out right here to Pachorik to end this inning? There's a strike, catches the outside corner. Breaking ball stays up high. Robers with the base hit down at first. My bad. I didn't hear the guys yell at me here for getting that one incorrect. One ball, one strike, one out, one on. Red Devils still looking for their first run. That would be another one that they would be looking for. Comes the 1-1 from Reed. That fouls that one back to the screen, does Martin. Comes the 1-2 pitch. That's outside. 2-2 the count. So Robers with the one out hit. He's down at first. Ground out to double play to Pachorik would be great right here to end this inning. That's outside. Martin has been out twice, once in the air, once on the ground to Pachorik. Blue Devils would like to see a double play ball hit right to him. Martin would like to get something on the outfield grass, I'm sure. Toss over to first. Robers back in easily. Got him picked off. And the runner is out. I coach the rundown much different than anybody else. The rundown for my team is you run them to the back base, you run them till you make the throw, and they're either safe or out. There's not 8 or 9 throws. It's always to the back base and get the out. Nonetheless, I did not get the official out of that right there, but 2 outs now. There's a foul ball back to the screen, so 3-2 the count.
You could just put that as a pick off to Frankie because Frankie's the one who tagged him anyway.
I gotcha.
So you just remove all the other throws. Yeah.
So the 3T right there, position 3 with the tag. Comes the 3-2 pitch. Foul ball back to the screen. So hanging tight is Logan Martin, the third baseman for the Red Devils. As a pop up into shallow right field. Sawyer Talk goes out and takes care of that for the final out of the inning. So 1 hit, no runs, but he faces the minimum due to the pickoff play. We go to the bottom of the 6th inning. Blue Devils are leading 8-0. All right, here we go to the bottom half of the 6th inning. Going to make a shout out to Steven Stittsville. Not sure why that shout out is, but if you're watching and enjoying the broadcast, I appreciate you watching. Santiago takes ball 1. Santiago is 1 for 2 with a fly out, a double into the right field corner, and a walk. There's a foul ball headed over into the workout area of the Blue Devils. So 1-1 the count on the first baseman, Frankie Santiago. That ball stays up and out. Two and one the count now on Santiago. There's a strike, catches the outside corner. 2-2 the count now. Blue Devils leading 8-0 here in the bottom of the 6th inning. 2-2 on the count as Santiago leads us off here in the 6th. That's down low and in the dirt. I guess it's in the turf, not in the dirt. 3-2 the count now. Swing and a miss. So Santiago goes down on strikes. That'll bring up Nolan the fourth. Nolan the fourth is 0 for 2 on the day. He does have a walk. Had extra bases stolen from him by Lowe in left field on a leaping play over just past the 394 sign. There's a strike called. 0-1 the count. Foul ball headed down the right field line. That's going to be foul. So quickly 0-2 the count on Nolan the fourth. That's low and outside. 1-2 the count. Another foul ball. That ball had home run distance, but it wasn't between the poles. So we'll do the 1-2 again. There's strike 3 called. So back-to-back strikeouts by Keaton Hartman. That's going to bring up Perry. Cade Perry, the third baseman. He's 1 for 2 on the day. Has a double and a base on balls. He steps in with 2 outs now. Nobody on. Almost a called strike there. The umpire started to go and then thought better. That ball with good movement was just down a bit. That's down low, so 2-0 the count. On the third baseman, Cade Perry. There's a ground ball headed up the middle, and Perry gets it past the shortstop Went for the base hit. So a 2-out base hit keeps the Blue Devils alive here in the bottom of the sixth. It's going to bring up Horn. Horn is 2 for 2. He has 4 RBI, 2 on a base hit and 2 on a home run. Swinging a miss. He was trying to end the game on that pitch right there. Missed on the breaking ball. 0-1 the count. The stretch and the pitch from Hartman. That in the dirt and blocked and safe at second base is Horn. Or excuse me, is Perry. It's Horn at the plate. Two balls, one strike to Braden Horn. There's a strike outside half of the plate at the knees. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. 2 runs needed to end this thing right here. Runner at second base is Perry. That's in the dirt. So 3-2 the count now. Hartman on in relief of Toro. There's a ball that's going to drop in front and get past the left fielder, so that will be a base hit as Horn gets 5 of the 9 RBI at this point. So that's going to bring up Wojda. Wojda will step in with 2 outs and a runner at second base. That runner at second base is Horn. Horn has 3 hits and 5 RBI on those 3 hits. Wojda steps in. He had a 2 RBI double. One of his at bats. He's 1 for 2 on the day. Drove one to the wall in right field for a double that scored 2. There's a ball headed into deep. And that's going to be extra bases. And that's going to be a walk-off double, I believe, here. And 10 runs. So the Blue Devils win the first one here.
Score KCKCC 10, Allen County 0. Game 2 will begin in a few minutes.
Be about a 30-minute delay. So Woida with the walk-off double there for the Blue Devils to win this one 10-0. We will take a break. The Blue Devils win it in 6 innings. 10-0. We'll take a break. We will be back with the second game of the doubleheader. Thanks for joining me.